Hey folks, my name is Phil Kearney. I create role-playing games, I illustrate them, and I publish them online. And I've been focusing my attention on Dungeons & Dragons as of late. There are a slew of books that I've published. They're all linked in the description down below. They're on DMsGuild.com. They all have extensive free previews. You can check out this stuff to think if it's cool. This is the next project that I'm working on. This is going to publish in January and also be on DMsGuild. It's called Spelljammer Combat Exploration. It's a deep dive into alternate mechanics, variant rules, and ideas about how to have more dynamic combat and a deeper, more rich pillar of adventure using exploration in the Spelljammer Adventures in Space campaign setting that Wizards released in August 2022. So recently a question came up about that these ships are all equipped with siege weapons, but siege weapons are so slow. How would we be expected to have fast-paced, dynamic combat between ships when the weapons used to attack are so slow? So let's do a deep dive into that here real quick. So ranged siege weapons. We're pulling the base information out of the Dungeon Master's Guide and Ghost of Saltmarsh, and then we're going to modify them with varying degrees of variant rules that you can implement in your games as well. So, off the cuff, ranged siege weapons are massive, complex machines that require multiple actions to load, aim, and fire, such as ballistae, mangonels, trebuchet, and gift cannons. I'm going to take a look at this page here, where we lifted some of the basic information about these different weapons from the Dungeon Master's Guide. So we'll just focus on a couple of them. The ballista. It requires multiple actions to load, aim, and fire. The total number of actions to load, aim, and fire a ballista is 3. While the number of actions required to load, aim, and fire a mangonel is 5. Normally, what would be assumed is that you're going to have a siege crew, which is going to be a number of NPC characters that you can command to fire the weapon. Doing so, rules as written, it would be if you have 3 crew member, you could issue a command for them to fire once per round. That translates into what we call a reload score of 3. And so a mangonel, it's a larger weapon, it deals more damage, has a longer range, has a heavier weight. It has a crew of 5. If you have 5 creatures, you can load and fire the weapon with 5 actions, which we'll call a reload score of 5. So first variant rule that we introduce here is action economy. So operating siege weapons. Ranged siege weapons require multiple actions to load, aim, and fire. Individual creatures can use attacks and a bonus action to do so. So for example, a mangonel requires 5 actions to load, aim, and fire. A 5th level fighter can make 2 attacks, use a bonus action, and an action surge to make 2 more attacks to load, aim, and fire the weapon alone once during a round of combat. Alternatively, since you can use attacks and a bonus action to load, aim, and fire without having to specifically say which phase it is that you're going through, and if you want to use the group initiative that is suggested in the Spelljammer's Adventures in Space, then you could have, say, if you're working that mangonel, it requires 5 actions to fire. You could have, say, a cleric with 1 attack and a bonus action, and a 5th level fighter with 2 attacks and a bonus action. You would then be able to use a bonus action, 1 attack, and then the last attack for the cleric and the fighter to work together to fire that mangonel once per turn, eating up all of their action economy. So that's one option. If all you have are your characters on board the ship and there's no crew for you to lead, that's how you can break down action economy. So let's keep playing with this. Alternatively, siege commanders can use actions to command NPCs, and they're called siege weapon crews. So a siege weapon crew are teams of NPC creatures similar to swarms that coordinate their actions to load, aim, and fire ranged ship weapons as ordered by a creature acting as a siege commander. So, If you're all by yourself, you can use your attacks and your bonus action. If you have a crew of creatures that you can issue commands to, you could, once per turn, have them use their actions to load, aim, and fire these weapons, assuming that you have enough crew to do so. Coincidentally, if you don't have enough crew, the amount of it still takes the amount of actions to make the weapon go. It's just that if you don't have enough crew, you can't do it in one round. Or your character could chip in their action economy to help the NPC crew to clear the fence. So if you need 5 actions to fire the mangonel and you only have 4 crew with you, you could step in and you could use your bonus action to help load, aim, and fire the weapon with the 4 NPC creatures that are acting in coordination with you to load and aim that fire that weapon once per turn. But we have this concept of ship rolls aboard a ship. So let's pull open this document a little bit more so we can see more, and let's push our way up into the roles. So the roles that we have here the roles are defining blocks of actions that you can take. So for now, we're going to focus on the Siege Commander options. As a verbal command, you can order a weapon crew to follow your commands. You have actions, you have bonus actions, and you have reactions. That's a normal round of combat for D&D 5e. A character at the 5-foot scale, swinging a sword, casting spells, doing hoopla. They have an action, a bonus action, and a reaction each round. Higher level characters and high level CR creatures have multiple attacks during an attack action. And a lot of creatures are capable of using a bonus action, including your characters in many circumstances, of being able to make an attack as well. So here's how your action breaks up. We're going to ignore ready attack right now. That's just hold an action until you use your reaction to fire a weapon. That's pretty normal. But we have the reload action as a reaction. We have an attack that can be used as a reload action. And then we have these orders here of using attack actions to make ranged ship attacks. So, if we have a crew of creatures, and those creatures were all capable of performing multiple attacks during a turn, they might not necessarily only have one action they can take per turn. So how do you boil down the complexity of multiple creatures with multiple action economies, such as that fire and that cleric? How can you have those guys work together efficiently to be able to fire multiple times per round across one or multiple weapons? So, we have these ideas. We already defined earlier that you can use your attacks and your bonus actions to load, aim, and fire a weapon by yourself. You can use those attack actions and bonus actions to instead order a siege crew to load, aim, and fire. And as long as you do it well, they can potentially use multiple actions per round to load, aim, and fire a weapon multiple times per round during your turn. That is translated into what the reload score is. So let's explore this a little bit further. When we we had I'll have a link down below, but we had recently a session where we were looking at the rank of a crew. All crews start at first rank, but as they gain experience in more battles, or if they're a higher CR creature, they can be a higher rank. A low CR creature can gain a higher rank by gaining renown as a battle veteran, which is gained by surviving a number of battles. So your renown, you have to have 10 renown to be second rank. To increase your renown, you have to the crew's renown increases by 1 when they engage in a number of battles equal to their current renown plus 1. So to gain 1 renown, you have to survive 1 battle. By the time you accumulate 55 battles, you've gained 10 renown. 10 renown is the minimum needed to gain second rank. So once you have a hardened crew, they can rank all the way up to 5th rank crew after surviving basically 4 years of combat every day, or a 4-year tour in the Navy during war, perhaps. So it's possible for you to find these higher rank crews. It's very easy for you to find low rank crews. So how are we going to use this? We have the reload score. which is typically representing how many actions it takes for you to use. But when you have creatures that are capable of performing multiple actions per turn, we want to make this more simple. So it's intuitive to use and doesn't take any more time at the table than what 5e combat would normally take already. So, using that idea, siege commanders make a command check when they issue an order to attack. Let's go up and find it. Hold on real quick. What we use is normally when you're making an attack roll, you'd roll a d20 plus your attack ability score modifier plus your proficiency bonus. We are replacing those with the command check. Instead of using your proficiency bonus, we're using the variant rule from the Dungeon Master's Guide called a proficiency die. A first level character has a +2 proficiency bonus. The proficiency die instead is a d4. A 5th level character has a +3 proficiency bonus, but when you're using a proficiency die, it's a d6. So you could potentially do better, you could potentially do worse than what your default proficiency bonus is, but this creates an additional variable inside of your attack roll. And you can take a feat to use an ability check, an ability modifier, to further adjust your command check when you're making attack rolls. But the assumption is that you're using your rank. So the rank of your character's level or the CR of a creature determines the rank that you are operating at as a commander. And so as you gain higher ranks, you can command a higher rank crew. If you have a crew that outranks your character, they default to the lowest rank. So a 5th level character commanding a 2nd rank crew is only getting 2nd rank efficiency out of that crew. A 2nd rank commander that is leading a 5th rank crew is only getting 2nd rank performance out of the crew, because the crew could operate better if they had a leader that knew how to coordinate their actions better for them to be led properly. So the level of the character and the level of the crew that they are commanding work together to set what the rank of the attack is. And this is important because the rank of the crew reduces the reload score. The minimum is a 1. So when you fire a weapon, you make your command check. A 1st level character would roll a d4. If you have a 1st rank crew with a ballista, the reload score becomes a 2. So if you roll a 2, 3, or 4 on your d4, you automatically reload the weapon and it can fire again with another command during this turn. This takes into account that your crew is gaining experience through combat themselves and are finding ways to be able to reload and aim and fire more efficiently. Like maybe they're aiming and maintaining a bead on the target while other characters are loading the weapon into place while that character is still tracking their target, and all the weapon gets loaded on, bam, now I can fire. So you can have higher levels of efficiency. We just looked at that when you use the command action, you can order a crew to take actions as frequently as you have actions to spend in command. So if I have 1 attack and 1 bonus action and 1 reaction, I could use my attack action to order the crew to fire, and I could potentially order the crew to fire again. And if I needed to, I could use a reload score. I could use my reaction to reload. Attack, attack, reload. 3 actions, right? So what happens if I don't roll? If I roll high enough on my command die check to hit the reload number, they automatically reload. So I can make my attack action to fire. If I rolled a 2 or above on that ballista, I could then use my bonus action to fire again. And if I hit a 2 or better on my command die roll, I'll automatically reload the weapon again, but I'm out of attacks. So I have to wait until next turn. If I make the attack action, if I only rolled a 1, then I'm going to fail the reload check. I can then use an attack action to reload, and then I'm done for the round. Or, obviously, I would want to use my reaction to reload, leaving a bonus action up for me to then make my attack. I can attack, I can then reload with a reaction, and then I can fire again as a bonus action. Or I could fire, as a bonus action. I succeeded. I can then make my attack and fire again. Oh, I failed. I can then use my reaction to load the weapon again. So the higher the rank the crew, the lower the score gets. The higher rank my character is, the larger the die is that I throw. So as I scale up and I keep my weapon crew up at the same level as my character, I'm having the weapon become easier to fire, and I can hit the number more easily. So it helps. It synergizes to work more efficiently together. This allows my character to have larger weapons. A mangonel has a reload score of 5. So if I have a second rank crew, at second rank I'm throwing a D6. And if I have a second rank crew, we're lowering the score by 2. That would lower the ballista down to a reload score of 1. My 5th level character would be guaranteed to be able to reload and fire a ballista every time he attacks. So 5th level character has attack, and bonus action. I can fire that ballista 3 times reliably because my rank of my crew is high enough to reduce the reload score down to 1. If I'm missing members of my weapon crew, it goes up by the number of creatures missing. But having extra characters doesn't reduce it. So I could theoretically have 1 crew member on this ballista. That would increase the score to 5. But if it was a 4th rank crew member, it would reduce it from 5 back down to 1. So a single 4th rank ballista crew member is as good as 3 2nd rank crew member. So you're gaining more, just like an 11th level fighter can attack almost as often as can attack as often as 3 1st level characters. 1st level characters have 1 attack per round. An 11th level fighter has 3 attacks per round. So it's the same there. So you can scale up and get larger scale weapons to deal larger amounts of damage. You have a higher chance of failing your reload score, but you'll have more chances of succeeding. So there's a nice, fun little risk-reward balance there. And when you're rolling the proficiency die with your D20, you're already calculating, did I hit or not? And while you're calculating, did I hit the armor class, you're looking at the reload scores like, I missed, but I succeeded in the reload check, so I can use my second attack to fire again immediately. If I failed on the check, I could then use my reaction to reload the weapon and then fire again with my bonus action. If I had 2 characters, that cleric and that fighter, if the fighter's 5th level, 2 attacks, a bonus action and a reaction, the cleric has 1 attack, 1 bonus action, and a reaction. So those 2 characters working together as a siege team, as siege commanders working in tandem together, using group initiative, which is suggested from Spelljammer Adventures in Space. The fighter would be able to fire, and if he failed the die roll, then reaction reloads the weapon. Can fire again. If that failed, the cleric could then use reaction to command the crew to reload and for another attack. The fighter could then use the reaction that is remaining to fire that weapon again. And if the roll fails, then the cleric could use an action to reload the weapon. And now the only thing left is the cleric's bonus action. The cleric could have the weapon crew fire again. And if the reload score is good, the weapon is ready to fire again. If it doesn't, we have to wait for someone else on the team to come around with some spare action economy to help reload the weapons as a command. Or you wait till the round, it comes back around to your turn again, you get all your action economy left. Okay, great. Let's get this weapon reloaded and let's keep firing. Pop, 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 pop. There you go. That's the gist of it. But we can go a little bit further. So let's scroll back down here and take a look at what we can do. So give me a second here to scroll down. There we go. Okay, multiple weapons. Commanding multiple weapons. As detailed in the rules above, a siege commander can take command of 1 or more weapons and crew during your turn, and all weapons can be ordered to fire together as a single action, making 1 command check. So, reloading multiple siege weapons. When commanding more than 1 siege weapon, add the modified reload score of all weapons together as a combined reload score and compare the result to the command die. So here we're looking at 3 ballistas with 1st rank crew. They would then have a reload score of 2 each. A first rank commander only rolls a d4. Even though you could fire all 3 weapons together, and you do 3 times the amount of damage because you're firing 3 weapons. If you hit, great. If you miss, all 3 of them miss. And then you have your reload die, your command die. And if you add up 2, 2, and 2, that's 6. A d4 would never be able to hit 6, but you could have an opening silo of all weapons deal a bunch of upfront damage against a target. And then you have to start worrying about eating up the action economy. So if the command die result is equal to or higher than the combined reload score, all crew reload their weapons as part of the attack action, ready to fire again on the next command. If the result is less than the combined score, each weapon crew requires a separate reload action before firing again individually or together. So if I have 3 weapons, I'm a first level character, I'm guaranteed to fail, but I could spend 1 action, like I use my action to fire all 3 weapons. I automatically fail the check. I knew that was happening. My cleric buddy could use an attack action to reload 1 weapon, a reaction to reload a second weapon, and then I use my reaction to reload the 3rd weapon. I can now use my bonus action that's left over to fire all 3 weapons again, but none of them are ready. So if I hit a 6 on a d4, it's impossible. So I know all 3 of these weapons are scrapped. If someone else comes along on the team, they could use their action economy to get, hey, all you guys start reloading, we're going to fire again, so you can help get that through. If I succeeded the check, they'd all be ready to fire again anyway. Alternatively, if I was all by my, if I have a 5th level fighter, or let's just go with a 1st level fighter. 1st level fighter, an attack, a bonus action, and a reaction. Attack action, fire all weapons. Silo shoots off massive damage. I failed my reload check automatically. I can't roll a 6 on a d4. Okay, I'm going to now, I use my bonus action to make all the attacks. I'm now going to use my reaction to reload 1 weapon. And now I can use my attack action to have that weapon fire again. And on my d4, if I roll at least a 2 or above, at least that weapon reloads. So then my cleric comes along and uses a reaction to reload 1 weapon, an attack action to reload another weapon, and then if all 3 of them are loaded, that cleric could use a bonus action to attack, and then all 3 weapons attack. And now they're all, if we rolled a 6 on a d4, that's impossible. But a 5th level character, it rolls a d6. A 9th level character rolls a d8. A 13th level character rolls a d10. A 17th level character rolls a d12. And a 17th level character can effectively command a 5th rank crew. So a 5th rank crew could reduce a trebuchet score down to a reload score of 2. So a 17th level character firing a trebuchet would only have to roll a 2 or better on a d12. You could potentially have 2 or 3 trebuchet at 17th level. These things are doing d8 times 10 damage, as opposed to a ballista doing d4 times 10 damage. So you can see how this damage can scale up and how it can use your action economy. If you're using group initiative, you can basically just pile all your initiative together and just divvy out how people are performing different roles of combat on the ship during combat. So that's how siege weapons work. Squadron and fleets work in a similar way, but we're going to come back and visit that another time.